Lynn fam, and welcome to a brand new video. Happy Valentine's Day. This week I'm going to try something a little different with my channel and cut back a little on my content. So just let me know if you prefer it in the comments below. Want to do a bit more quality over quantity, so I'd be really interested to know what you guys feel about that. But for today, we're going to be covering my team selection. If you're loving the content, then please do show it some love and drop a loving like. Let's try and hit 60 likes on this video. That would be absolutely fabulous. Lastly, if you're new to the channel, then please do subscribe. That is the ultimate gift for us content creators. Okay, let's get into this. Starting off with how I'm getting on so far, De Gea failed to keep another clean sheet. They are few and far between at the moment. He did make 3 saves, so you know he did bag an extra point, and he does have one more fixture to go, hopefully. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that there's something more to come from him. Where United failed to keep a clean sheet, Trent managed his 10th for the season. That's double than what De Gea has. Can you believe it? It was a good week if you had doubled up on Robertson and Trent. I unfortunately did not. Is it time to make the shift? Maybe. Cancelo didn't start, but the redeeming feature was that he also didn't come on off of the bench for 1 point. So I've lucked out a little by getting Kilman's 7 points off of the bench. That hasn't been updated yet. Webster was my newcomer to the team. I sold Dawson to free up a little cash to afford Salah. This is hilarious. Only I could sell a defender that scored for a defender that scored. Trust me. Webster did keep a clean sheet, so a few more points than what Dawson got. And of course, hopefully Webster has another game. So hopefully long term, this is the better move, she says prayingly. Where my defence was keeping my points up, my midfielders were doing their best to destroy me. Salah came in for the -4, as I just said, along with Webster. He did get 3 more points than what KDB did, but I was hoping for a little more. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I really thought this was the week he might start popping off again in the Premier League. Hopefully he'd be the least owned I'd ever had him for percentage-wise, so the game would have been great. Unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. Jota was benched. Hopefully that's his rest out of the way now. Bruno has been absolutely terrible since I got him, completely sucked into the double game weeks with him. He does have one more match, but he just played so far back against Southampton. I'm not feeling very hopeful for midweek, if I'm honest. Trossard, Trossard, this guy, so frustrated. Why have I held him on for so long? These double game weeks, man, they're absolutely doing me in. Hopefully he plays midweek, but a terrible transfer by me. I don't know what I was thinking at that particular point. He wasn't exactly on form. He doesn't exactly play all of the minutes. I honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. And lastly, in midfield, Bowen was the only one to do absolutely anything for me. So big hearts for him. Like most weeks in midfield, he just keeps returning. He was showing the love with a goal and an assist for 13 points. If only I had perma-captained him when Mo had left for AFCON, where would I be right now? Hindsight is a wondrous thing, but it's really frustrating also to think all of those points that I could have had if I'd just been brave enough to stick the captaincy on Bowen and leave it there. Up front, it's yet another disappointment. I don't think I've had a goal since game week 21 from any of my strikers. I played Dennis, of course, he got a yellow. I may get King's amazing 2 points off of the bench if Trossard is a no-show midweek. This front line is such a mess, and my plan to get Weghorst looks completely up in smoke now with that injury. But I'll talk about that in just a moment. All of that means I'm on 48 points at the halfway stage, so 44 with my -4, and 7 points yet to be added off of the bench for Kilman, with hopefully, just hopefully, De Gea, Bruno as my captain, Trossard and Webster to play, but hey, we all know about double game weeks. Who knows? With all of that, let's move on. This is how I'm currently lining up. I currently have 8 doublers, if they all play, of course, and you can minus that to 6 or 7 potentially with the Watford lads, because the points they're going to get you aren't going to be brilliant, are they? Let's be honest. My original plan was to sell Bruno and one of my forwards to Son and Weghorst for 9, 10 doublers at cost of -4. I think I'm going to see how Bruno looks midweek and decide if to keep him for Leeds or take a punt on Spurs with the hope that they show up for their doubler. If I decide to do that, then I would be getting rid of Bruno for Son, and I would also then be considering with 1.4 in the bank whether or not to sell Antonio. Of course, as I was saying, Weghorst is looking a little like there might be a bit of an issue there in terms of his injury now, so that's not great. So my other consideration in the Antonio spot is Jimenez. Now, I haven't seen many people talking about Jimenez. He has gone a little bit under the radar because of his minutes and his little injuries that he's had, but you know, I really like this for a -4. And it would get me another double game week player in. And I quite like the thought of that, to be honest. You know, Jimenez's points when he does play have been pretty good recently. 2 goals in the last 4-5 games that he's played. So it's not bad. It's not brilliant. But hey, considering our options in that kind of 5 to 7 mark, it's not great. Brozier, of course, is somebody that I am considering, but he doesn't have the double. So I think he'll come in potentially for one of the Watford lads in the coming weeks, and I would probably prefer to drop one of them to him given the price tag than the other way around. But Antonio has just looked really poorly recently. He just isn't on it, and you know, I don't love any of my front lines, so this would be the start of kind of rebuilding that, I guess. I know I do have a wild card still yet to use, but yeah, it's really chasing the double, and given the current game weeks, chasing doubles hasn't really paid off for a lot of us, let's be honest. But this, you know, gets me 10 double game week players potentially if everyone plays both. So, you know, if you're going to go in on it, and you can go in on it on a -4, then you may as well. Obviously, I would have loved Spurs to have looked a lot better on the weekend. That would have made me feel a lot better about going in on Son here for Bruno, which is why I want to kind of wait on that midweek fixture to see if Bruno's looking any better. With him having Leeds, you know, it's a bit of a trade-off there on whether to chase the double with Son. I could obviously go Kane where Jimenez is, and then downgrade Bruno to somebody bit cheaper, maybe one of the Arsenal lads, but of course then they blank the week after and I'm going to have to try and find a way to work around that, and it's locking in transfers and things like that. So this is kind of a way I feel like it's balancing both. Do I feel hugely confident with these players going into a double game week? Not particularly, but then as I've said, the double game weeks haven't exactly been strong anyway, so decent enough. Captaincy will be on Salah, and likely the triple captain too. I am a little worried that Salah is tired from his AFCON duty, mentally and physically, so I've wobbled a little more than I normally would on this, but I think so many people will just do it without even thinking, so it's a little scary to consider the alternative, if I'm honest. Not going for the triple captain when potentially everyone else is on Salah, and Salah doing something will just absolutely murder rank. So you really have to consider that this season. Unfortunately, it's not just going to be cut and dry, and it's a little frustrating because sometimes I feel like it's nice when there's not so much of a standout triple captain option, and it would be a lot more fun, I think, if things were a little more up in the air and people had more of an option to triple captain and who to think about as their triple captain. But I have heard some people talking about sticking it on Trent. I like that shout. You know, it's pretty out there. It's pretty big Billy. It would be very out of the norm for me, that's for sure. Who knows? I may get brave and put my brave pants on. It is Valentine's week, you never know. I could just, put my superwoman pants on and decide to go for it, but let's see. I'm hoping to do a stream a little later on in the week. It'll either be a deadline stream or a Q&A, kind of feeling along the lines of I'll do a team selection, that sort of vibe at the beginning of the week, and then at the end of the week some sort of deadline stream, Q&A stream, and yeah, just kind of keep it at those beginning and end, but we'll see how it works out. As for the trending transfers right now, as you can see, Salah is well up there. So many people getting him in. They're just too terrified with that double game week coming up, and I don't really blame them, even though he hasn't exactly been on form recently. Going without him is worrying. Saka, interesting to see him. He's one that I could consider if I decided to go with Kane up top instead of Jimenez for my double game week. Nice to see Coutinho coming in, even though he doesn't have a double game week. You know, he's looked really good and he is in form. So him, Brozier and Bowen here in the last three pulling up the trees there for the single game week players, that's kind of fair enough. You can completely understand it. I'm not shocked to see Fernandes and De Bruyne on their way out. Obviously, they're going to fund that Salah move. It's going to, you know, free up a lot of money for a lot of people. So not shocked by that, especially as Bruno, as I said earlier in the video, has been pretty pants. And De Bruyne didn't play last game week. So for a lot of people, it's just even a no-brainer. Ronaldo, I guess he doesn't have a double game week and he's another way to free up some cash for people. I think Gallagher's just, again, making way. He can't play against Chelsea. He came from Chelsea, so he's banned to play against his old club. So that's why I think a lot of people are, you know, getting rid of him and freeing up a bit of cash there. And Bernardo, of course, has kind of dropped off form recently and isn't doing quite as well. So I think, yeah, it's all making very much sense at the moment, these transfers in and out. Of course, they are just the early look at the transfers. We may take a little updated look later on in the week. And that is it, you guys. Thanks for watching. Please show me some love today and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll be back, as I said, later on in the week with some sort of live stream, so hopefully see you then. But for now, I really hope you're loving the new videos, and please check out my sponsors of this video, fantasyfootballfix.com. Until next time, Nymfria out.